Welcome back, brothers, to punching, not punching, facing the hardest game mechanics, the hardest bosses, the most suspicious hitboxes, the most unfair fights ever conceived, tilting, overpowered, frankly evil bosses, exploring some of the most beautiful environments the game has to offer. Join me in part 2 for some filthy laughs as I get sliced, exploded, run over, juggling some incredibly bad luck and some incredibly good luck. So let's not hang around. Part 2 is beckoning. So if it's not clear at this point, this is part 2. So unless you're a complete psychopath, go and watch part 1 if you haven't already. While the rest of us journey into the jungle. Now, I'm not a fan of jungles, as many of you will know from Diablo 2 experiences. Oh, look at it. Hold on. Let's get immediately distracted. Some of these doodads are pretty ill. This cactus looks like it's trying to be a pillar. Bless. Loving a little bit of world building there. I'm gonna actually look at this caravan here. I mean, they're blocking. Is that suspicious woman again? She's around. Well, spot her. I'm not crazy. She's the crazy one. There she is. I knew she'd be here. She's building the world's biggest sausage. By the looks of it. I'm not crazy. She's up to no good. Look at this. I mean, this is so unnecessarily detailed. This game is just incredible for this. But we are now poised and ready to enter the second half of this game. The first thing we've got to do is derobe Deckard again. Reveal. I don't quite remember too much about this, but to those who have played Path of Exile 1, I believe this is Sin, and he's a character from the first game, and that's a big reveal. A bit like Tyrael. So similar, in fact. It could almost be a direct copy, but there you go. We end up now in this kind of beautiful biome in between desert and jungle, which is super cool, and it's very nice to see these blood thief wasps providing exactly what we need. For those that remember, the smaller the creature, the better. Okay, we can then proc our exploding poison goodness. That's not a legitimate name. It's not like I've forgotten the name. I don't know what you're talking about. Venom Fang's here, proving to be a little bit tougher than I want him to be. Nice that I've got some local help. Huge amount. We've got a huge amount to get through here, so I'm not quite sure why I'm spending so much time on the very first unique. This is part of the problem when you edit these things, is you've got all the time in the world until suddenly it's an hour and a half in, and you have only covered the first part, the first act you wanted to. This game is ludicrously big. If you haven't picked it up, guys, I don't know what's wrong with Root Dredge. I had a real trouble with first time. I think when you play it with a normal character, it's so much faster. You don't pay attention to a lot of the mechanics, as I'm not really doing here, and get exploded by what are, in hindsight, some very obvious projectiles. However, at the time, I can't attest to what time of day it was. It was probably quite late. I'd probably be playing this quite a bit after. Might be straight after my endurance session, the previous epic boss. My God, I couldn't believe how difficult that was. Hopefully, we'll find some kind of meta. Unlikely. And Groot, unfortunately, doesn't really give us very much. At least it gives us an idea of what kind of support gems we're going to be building towards. Poison 3 there would be a very nice one. A little campfire here. It's very difficult for me not to see a little campfire with some bosses in and just show you how cool it is and quaint. See, it's so easy to skip through so many parts of this game. And actually, in many ways, I can recommend it. I think it would improve the general feeling of the game if you leave a little bit behind and then come and explore some new areas on your second run through. But my OCD will not allow me to leave anyone unkilled, unfisted. I've got to say, I'm getting distracted immediately by this little camp. So cool. Little ladders and stuff. The thing about jungle camps is I don't find them very cozy because there's always things around you. That's why living near the sea is so nice, because there's nothing out there. A few boats, manageable. And this well, chef's kiss to whoever designed this well. It's my favorite well in any game. Survey's also almost my favorite character in any game. Incredible. It's like a competition was run to make a character in the game. And there she is. Quadrillas as well. Almost like if a competition was run for a creature. I did just have a quick look up to see if Quadrillas were in the first game. I can't quite remember. I know these other little guys were. But Quadrillas, I can't quite recall. It's been a long time since I played Path of Exile. But I have just found out they are really good beasts to tame. We'll get into, or we won't get into Tame Beast. It's such a shame that Tame Beast is level 40, because that would definitely be my next run if it was a level 1 skill. So we can get a little bit excited now as we move further in to the tree, actually to one of the bigger nodes, poison nodes. There's some really, really good stuff. Escalating toxins, just the beginning. I always think there's going to be a boss here. In my head, I'm like, I remember there being a snake boss. There is not. I don't know, maybe I'm just getting a bit confused. I think I blasted through it a bit too quickly the first time. But yeah, look at this. Drying meats. Are you kidding me? I've been through this in the last video, but man. And look at this. For those of you who haven't stood here, what is wrong with you? This is incredible. Look at the water. What more do you want from a game? Well, I'll tell you what I don't want. Mighty Silverfist to turn up. Wreck my day. There should be a Mighty Silverfist follows you through the entire game run. And can't be killed. He is unbelievably tough. And I was trying to clear all of the camps around the temple ruins. He saw what I was doing. That was absolutely noped it. Liam Sneeson has found a nemesis. This guy. Now, look, what's interesting is I probably had a harder time originally with some of my more normal, in inverted commas, characters. Actually being punched with this is pretty comfortable because you can just roll into him. Problem is, it's not 100% as I found out, and the damage was not very significant. So it was such an extremely long fight to concentrate through, I actually couldn't. So I decided to carry on and go somewhere else. Loving this little nest here. Any nest with a little boss kind of creature in, lots of little ads that I can eventually explode. Love it. And then of course, I love getting trapped in a corner, just to add to the tension of the run, which is always intentional, right? I tell you what, it is solid. When there's enough creatures that die around, very, very solid. And this is a real frame killer of an area, this. But again, absolutely glorious, like beautiful. I mean, they really have, they've almost reskinned Diablo 2. This is like Diablo 2 remastered. If they just put a few of the characters in, they've done such a good job of building this world. These environments are so much fun to walk through that I actually, like normally, especially with Diablo 2 at this point, I'm like, I don't want to do this again. I'm just going to have a break for a bit, play something else. But actually, after this, I really wanted to play immediately again. It's weird, because I had some really difficult fights. It's quite nice being in a state of confusion. It's also nice, the amount of experience I was getting in some of these areas. When I could proc the poison, if I could proc the poison. And even finding an odd unique, not particularly useful. And a lot of people hate the uniques in this game. I love uniques in every game, my dude. So just, yeah, you can cast hatred, and I get it. I get it. A lot of people are like, dude, you should just look at the rares and get good stats. I just like it when when you get some really interesting mechanics. I've mentioned before, I think Diablo 3 does a really good job of that. One of the few good jobs they do. That and set dungeons, I've got to say, I did actually quite enjoy. Felt like maybe that's more of what Diablo Immortal should have been like. Just to lean really into the Arcadey feel of it. I've got to say, this boss, not very exciting. I mean, there's a lot going on, of course. You get the old broomstick bit, you know, and then a bit of the fiery bit. My fire resists are actually very good. One of the things I have to do with these kind of meme builds is really build up my health and resistances. And I generally have to farm a little bit more than I'd like to. So I often have decent-ish kind of resources and stuff, so I can buy a lot of stuff. I mean, I'm pretty poor most of the time. It's actually such a boring fight. I couldn't think of a funny name. Answers on a postcard. Put it in the comments if you think of a better name. In fact, if you do think of a better name, let me know and I will include it in the next one. I actually quite look, I know this boss league table, nobody's even commented on it. For me, it was kind of necessary to keep my sanity. We are now spirit heavy. We are fighting Mighty Silverfist. So I've got 2 auras now. Wither and Despair. Also the name of my sex tapes. Sometimes, you know, sometimes I do make jokes just to make myself laugh. But maybe there's 1 or 2 of you out there. You've got my infantile sense of humour. Back to the game. This was one of the most frustrating fights. How can I sum this up? Pain, misery, despair, withering, 0 sex. It was fully taped. Why? Why do they have a boss like this? Why does it need to kill people instantly? And why does he use that move so often? And why in the second stage it's almost random where he hits that insta-kill move? And why did Harambe have to die? Why? What is going on? I was so, like, I don't know what it was about this particular guy. I was so cross at the idea that something so simple was going to beat me. He did. But he did many, many times. I probably died 15 times to that guy. He is an absolute god among dongs. Huge dong wielder. He actually didn't take that long either. But it's a long time to concentrate for someone like me. We're working our way. I mean, I got really confused around this particular part of the tree as to what to go for. We'll get there eventually to all of them. But it's a very decent boost, that fight. He is definitely worth fighting. But how any of you people play this game on hardcore, I don't know. Because it is not for me. That guy will kill me every single run. Guaranteed. I'm guessing maybe, and this might be a stupid thing to say, but you just avoid it until you're really over-leveled. But even then, I've known people who've had huge hit point pools still get absolutely one shot. Part of my criticism just during this whole thing is Evasion. I just didn't feel Evasion was doing anything for me. Maybe when you like super scale it, it works. But I actually thought because we were through this little toxic area, well, we may as well be immune to our own fists. Questions might be asked as to what I'm doing, luring these little lads. I kind of assumed if I get a little pack with me to join me in the arena, then I could absolutely troll the first stage of the boss. I didn't realise he was going to hit me quite that hard, quite that often. Attacks. A lot of these attacks are quite noisy. They don't really do very much. There's two like big attacks you've got to be careful of. Nearly everyone has like a well-signaled slam attack. You just need to get out of the way of. In my case, you just get hit by it. Who cares? I do have a little bit of a melee splash on this. So I target the boss, and actually you can see the damage is very, very significant. It's almost like a free 5, kind of 5k. Now overall this boss was very easy. My health regeneration at this point is so high, you can see my health. When I do get hit, yeah, it takes 300-400 off. I just get that back within, a few seconds. Normally on average 2 seconds, my health will be regenerating that often. The most irritating thing about the fight, of course, is the pillars. So the pillars are, I can't remember if in the normal run you can knock the pillars down. But in my run, I could not. So I had to just spend a lot of time running. So yeah, I mean, look, there's a very good chance this guy's going to make it onto the list, boss league table. But a lot of that was watching him fly around majestically, right? But one of you guys actually mentioned about melee splash, that you can get that now as a node. Unfortunately, it's on the other side. It may as well be in Australia on the skill tree for me. So there's one of the reasons why I'm not getting that or building towards that. But there is an element of splash within Punch that I showed almost at the very beginning of the first video. So you can kind of, when there are a lot of ads around a boss, you can still kind of just hit the boss. And every now and then you'll clip one of the guys with a hook. But super easy fight, really actually quite good fun. Like, I kind of needed this, I'll be honest. After Mighty Silverfist, I was so sad. But that, honestly, the flying dog doesn't deserve the position he's ended up in. Now, Big Brain Me knows at some point we're going to have to do... We desperately need the next Ascendancy. It's going to be a massive damage spike for us. However, I've never actually completed this before with any character. I should be ashamed of that. I'm not. Maybe I'm a bit. In hindsight, I am, yeah. But a lot of this feels like... I mean, I hate these modes, I'll be honest. I absolutely hate them. They're really stupid. RNG. Look, fine if you have them as like a different game mode. But why have them intrinsic to your character build when they're so luck-based in terms of what mods you get? And again, you can get a boss at the end of this, which is impossible, in my opinion, or you can get one that's really easy. Who did I get? They're literally my nemesis. Bird Bastard. Look, if for a moment you think this is easy or remotely fun, then shut the front door, as far as I'm concerned. You have got something desperately wrong. This is the worst boss in any game ever. I've played so many games. I hate this creature so much, with such a passion. He's so stupid. He looks like an idiot. He waddles it off. I'm so tilted by this guy. He's almost single-handedly ruined all of the fun. I'm barely net positive on the fun I've had playing this game, because this guy is so ridiculously overpowered. Oh, and he's got a little baby that spits out as well, who I want to punch and kill, but he's also mega... What? I mean, some of his attacks, all of his attacks at a certain point kill you instantly. How is this fun? And then he also has a blood like spike attack, which basically means you can't move afterwards because the blood loss is so ridiculous. And you can't hit the guy because you're too busy trying to avoid all of his projectiles. I mean, look at this. I'm slowed at this point. 16 minutes there. I may as well just put in the bin, head first. I would actually punch that guy in real life. If someone cosplayed that as that guy, I would punch them right in the beak. I'm so angry still. I've been to many therapy classes since, but I still am so bitter. At least this is a familiar environment for me. Punching statues, I don't mind punching statues in the dick. That is a forte of mine. And I do actually really like this area. I think it's really like just a cool design. I like the little I actually really like the way it reminds me of one of the first seasons I really got into of the original Path of Exile, which is with Alva and the whole temple system. I was mega confused. I never made a character that was very good. My best character on Path of Exile 1 was, I think, 2 poets' pens I had, and I could just like zip around the map really easy. I think I must have copied it from somewhere. Probably one of like the build of the week type things. It was really, I could barely afford 2 poets' pens, and someone just gave one to me because they felt sorry for me. And that was just so much fun, having like a really good viable build, and actually got into maps and got quite far. But yeah, I really wished I'd maybe played Path of Exile more in some of the seasons, or really maybe just had a few more people to play with. If you guys like, maybe if you want to get a crew together, join the Discord. We'll get a crew together for when the new patch lands, and we can all roll the druids, all make bears and just roll around the map. Please don't ever be like shy to reach out and say, let's play a game. There's loads of games I love playing. I love playing survival games, roguelikes, ARPGs, strategy games. So if you want to play a game with me, other people, similar mental degradation, then get on the Discord, reach out to me, and yeah, we'll get something organized. I think, I mean, this is going to date this video quite badly, but we are playing Guild Wars soon. For those who remember that game, first Guild Wars, we're going to try and get a crew together and just run through that again, which should be good fun. So there's other stuff like that you want to organize, then let me know. Look at this hat, incredible. Look at the shoulder pads as well. Solid drip, I've got to say. This was a real barrier for my pacifist run. And one of the big motivators for me picking poison, shield. The energy shield on this guy is girl. I'm not judging. I'm not looking. It looks like they've got 6 one-eyed snakes, if you know what I mean. So maybe we classify this as a boy. Because the Cotal Warden of the Core was a real barrier for me, mainly due to their barrier. The energy shield on this guy is just insane. I had to really time the like roll out and then roll back in just to stop that energy shield from regenerating, because it was pretty relentless. Actually with resists, again, not that difficult to fight. Quite nice to have some easier fights. By easy, I mean I'm still for a very long time having to concentrate. Things can go pretty south pretty quickly. But a lot of the hate in my heart for my pacifist run was kind of forgiven this round, because this felt pretty possible. Loving the hat though. Oh, and a Chaos Orb as well. Used to be the currency in the first game, a lot more than Exalted Orbs are in this one. Didn't even scratch 10 minutes off my life. I'm never getting back. That is a mighty anal mechanism, that. Juria would happily sit on that bad boy. And again, like, the jungle is perfect for these little like encounters. Love it. Absolutely love it. This was actually... There was a few attacks here. I was like, okay, not bad. I mean, thanks for coming. I mean, I'm not going to write down the time for someone like that. It's annoying enough to have to edit these videos. They've done a very good job in this area, I've got to say. It was difficult for me not to stop constantly and point things out on this one. I think what I might do for my next video, I'm not sure. I'd love to get some ideas, by the way, in these brief moments where I have some time. Please send me some ideas. The next one I'm thinking either totem only or skeleton only, but let me know. Because what I might do is just a bit of a very slow walk through each act, so I can really soak in some of the environments. This is about as good as it gets, guys, by the way. If you're too busy, and this annoys me though, this little tree trunk, I would definitely jump down this way, out of principle. Every scene, like look at that, it looks like concept art for a game. And it's actually in the game. We're so spoilt now, we don't even realise. These rooms are actually pretty stressful. Even though I should be laughably able to take out these guys, there's no one particularly special here. I'm very, very close to dying almost all the time. I'm not sure if it's something I just don't get about this game, but I felt like I was taking damage a lot. Look, it's almost certainly the fact I don't understand what's going on. But I often found myself struggling to survive. As you can see. Yeah. Nice to get my boots dry up these steps for a little bit. Get somewhere a little bit. Well, this actually looks worse. I was going to say the fact there are mushrooms growing here, I suppose it's recently drained. But I love a good mushroom. There are actually too many mushrooms here for me to sit and make some memes. Almost my favourite thing about going for a walk in the UK is you can always find a good mushroom because it's always damp or it's about to get damp. Look, it's time for a real proper upgrade in equipment, and that is going to come in the form of the Ice Fang Orbit Iron Ring. You got your physical damage, dexterity, chance to poison. I'm not so sure about the rest of it, but the increased magnitude of poison you inflict. Very nice. Two of these really, it makes sense at this stage of the game. But we have an issue. We don't have enough intelligence. In-game and IRL. So I am going to have to mess around with some runes just to make sure I'm topping that up. To be honest, as we work through the tree, I'm probably going to put more points in intelligence. But anyway, let's get back. So I got pretty addicted to shopping during this. It's really the auction house, like marketplace they've got, not auction house. Oh my god, that's like a dirty word, right? But yeah, it is very, very good. It is incredible, by the way. I mean, it's probably the one thing that Path of Exile 1 really needs. The whole like system is so junk. Just take a moment, because I only realised that I can't remember exactly how. When I was looking back at recording, that the clouds move over neatly, very gently, very subtly. But yeah, awesome. Completely didn't realise I could socket every one of my items. Unfortunately, only once. I think maybe you can corrupt stuff to get more than one socket. I'm not entirely sure. And some things can drop with more than one socket. So much to learn. I say every minute is a learning minute in this game. I heard your mum was having a bath outdoors, which is a bit weird. Oh my god, here she is. Oh, she's lost weight. Lovely. I just have a sip of drink while this is going on. This is a very, who thought of this? Give them a raise. Give them a raise and then put them in prison. Okay, we've got some absolute nonsense going on. Now, look, only when I watched this back did I realise that, like, summoning creature ball meteor that comes down is actually very easy to dodge. You have to dodge towards the pool of filth because it actually, like, spreads out in the opposite direction. And I was always rolling away from it. So just forgive old me, new me. It's a better me. Fighting. Now, I've been fighting for a while here. It's not going very well. She is one of the toughest hitters. I think maybe I didn't realise exactly how evasion worked. And correct me if I'm wrong. I think evasion has a chance, an increasingly high chance to dodge depending on the damage of the attack. So a high evasion, all low damage attacks will pretty much miss all the time. But high damage attacks will still hit every time. And this woman, whoa, she can hit the gym. She has been to the gym. So I'm just getting absolutely wrecked. At this point, I'm like, evasion is trash. It's a stupid skill. I should be dodging at least half of all these attacks. And I think it was me not realising what evasion really meant. So, considering where the act started and where it's now ended up, it is really good. For an Act 3, it's really good. The only problem is, I'm just getting tilted by every single boss. It's really triggering me. I just feel like every single one, I'm just not playing very well. Now I know this is going to be difficult because of the meme build I'm using, but I do actually think there's a little bit of like that Dark Souls, Bloodborne mentality you have to have with this game. If you are dying, more often than not, it's because you're not very good. That is actually really hard pill to swallow, especially in games like this. We've had a lot of games, Diablo 4, which have basically held our hand. If you die in Diablo 4 on hard difficulty when you're playing the game, you aren't very good at these games. Sorry, I'm sorry, dude. This game will kick your ass, and you might not like it, but a better version of you lies ahead. I actually had to Google how to get better at this fight. It was really sad. It was things like, don't stand in their way of her attacks. It was so stupid, and I still got caught by the curses, got pushed into corners. And the best thing about this fight, and it's so close to her death, I almost died, but the best thing was the ads. It made such a big difference. Fortunately, very easy to get cornered by them. But once a big enough group formed, it was the end of everyone. And that is a very messy floor. But your mum actually managed to last more than 10 minutes. That's a horrible sentence. It's time to archive the free cosmetic and get on a proper Rob Roy hat. Looks a lot like Rob Roy. That's the real Rob Roy. Let's ring the doorbell. Let's get in here. What's that little baby statue? Can't help thinking that's probably if you just pushed the space where that doll went, that golden idol went, it would have opened. This again, look, it's a very cool area. The game's too long. They should have saved half these ideas for Path of Exile 3. Should I be ungrateful for being this spoiled? It's so good. This is such like a super cool environment, by the way. This huge like giant sun. I'll reveal now if it's not really clear. I know nothing about the lore of this game. It's not a sun. This went really well, as you can see. What do you think happened next? Oh ye of little faith. Some absolute power rolls out of that dreadful situation. Almost power rolled my way back into a terrible situation again. We are getting pretty good at being lucky, which is one of the best skills you can have in life. Now, weirdly enough, it really does just take one to die and the rest of them die. I made the mistake of dropping down into hell, which felt like a good fun gimmick. I should not be wasting my time. I should, however, be crafting new flask. Lovely. Also this belt. I mean, lightning resist, health regen, solid extra life. It's nice to not be shocked, but it's the life. I really feel like we need the life, because 100 life now is a very, very significant difference in my current health pool. So this guy, first time I played this game, by the way, kicked my ass. I had probably 10 fire resist, and he was wildly overpowered. He looks so much like, it actually immediately makes me want to paint some Warhammer models. I actually not too recently bought some like Warhammer lizard men, because I always wanted them as a kid, and of course I couldn't have them because I didn't have any money. And then I'm on eBay and just see them, and I'm like, yeah, I deserve that, because I've got so much free time. So then I sat in a box, as there will be for the next millennium, to be inherited by my children, a burden on my children's. Proper Saurus old blood kind of model there, very cool. And nice to get a little bit of extra resist from that boss fight too. The whip, Murder Whip, is a pretty cool name, by the way. And we make our way downtown. 75 fire resist. I mean, what has this guy got against me? He doesn't have a chance. Well, he actually might do. I can't quite remember how bad this gets. I honestly think we can dodge a lot of his attacks. 75, and with 75 fire resist, should be okay. A lot of this is going to be like, how damaging are these particular attacks? It doesn't seem to damage me at all. And this could be pretty brutal. Actually, I mean, he's getting good. Imagine having to do that in a real fight. The pain in my shoulder at my age. No. Okay, it's quite a weird Arcadey kind of fight. And once again, like without the challenge of his energy shield, we're doing the damage we need to get through the fight. It probably is, as with every fight. I saw one of you guys comment that the only reason I think the fights are too long is because I'm clearly playing this ridiculous character class. I don't think it should matter. But yeah, no, you're right, of course. But I found all of these fights are just a little bit too long. The campaign is so big, guys. What are they going to be, another 2 acts? 6 acts in total, is it? Too long. At this length, too long. Plus, it's going to be a 3-part video for me. I don't have the disk drive space. But so although the gimmicks kind of ramp up, this guy, nothing. What they should do is have him explode at the end, or like a timer, and you have to run back through the whole area in like a minute. That'd be cool. Let's ride the lift up. Favorite lift in a video game? Metal Gear Solid? No, come on, we can do better than that. Streets of Rage 2. Nailed it. Nice of everyone to gather around the port. I mean, look, anything can come through this portal. It's so dangerous. We'll just stand around it. I'm brimming with confidence now. I'm actually getting very close also to the furthest I've ever got in the game. I haven't done Act 4. I hope we can get there. Looking good. It's not looking good, I'll be honest. I really feel like survivability is my biggest issue, and the fact that I love wasting my time on areas which I just shouldn't be in because the rewards aren't worth it. Although I did actually manage to get to the end of one of these, and the rewards were okay. And there's a lot of stuff maybe I shouldn't be picking up. I'm still at this point picking up a lot of blue items just to make the money because I've got such a shopping addiction. Even though these guys hit really hard, super tough. This guy especially I loved. Little shopkeeper. He can't possibly abandon his shop, regardless of how bad it gets. It's like those guys in riots who just stand outside their shops with a gun or a machete or something. He's not going to abandon his shop to me. And idols. So the idols here in these little sub areas are all just good money. Although I hold on to them for hours, probably an hour. Look at this little. I would buy that cosmetic, by the way. Happily buy that cosmetic. It looks amazing. I probably should support this game a bit more as well because I've had so much fun with it. Hopefully by me showcasing some of this, you are encouraged, inspired to maybe start your own run. Look at this. It looks incredible. These guys look so cool. And Alva by this point is kind of pissing us all off with their kind of amateur dramatics. So it's really, really nice to see that in the middle. That might be back. That might come back to haunt me in my lawsuit one day. But I'm very pleased to fight anyone called Viper. That is a very, very cool nemesis name. This is a really, really cool fight. Really, really cool arena. You wonder how long they were like sitting on some of these ideas. Right. The trove of ideas these guys have. They are one of the best studios out there. Guys, we have to support companies that do stuff like this. None of this like remaster nonsense. Let's just make an incredible game and continue to support it, and they might even make it free, which is ridiculous. Right, this fight is very noisy, and I got pretty concerned. There was a lot going on, a lot of danger early on, and I hadn't really done that much damage. There are also a lot of mechanics. I don't remember a lot of these fights as well. A lot of mechanics later on in the fight, which can one-shot. Some of these I'm like, oh, we'll be fine. I should not have been standing in front of... I mean, I'm immune to poison, but I'm not immune to the physical part of that particular attack. Not worth me throwing away minutes of my life, which I've done many times before, of course. I can avoid it. But if I can avoid it, I should be doing so. The arena here closing over time, making a lot of these meteor attacks. This particular set of spear attacks from all the lads, I had no idea. I can kind of see what's going on, but there's no way I'm going to avoid it. Maybe I should be standing to one point and just trying to avoid where I can. But when they all do their attacks, I'm like, okay, we're just going to take some damage. But actually, I mean, look, I really think Punch Only is a very, very good run to hone your kind of boss awareness skills. Which I was able to do it first try. Zero imagination, but luckily you won't remember because she didn't make it onto the boss league table. A lot of stress after the fight because I'm a bit worried that I'm going to die against these guys. Luckily I did not, but it wasn't a guarantee. And I'm still thinking evasion, maybe I just haven't spec'd into evasion enough at this point. We are able to get up to 40. I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't think it is. I'd only actually got to this point in the game once before, which was with the old Thorny Bjorny. Quite nice to be able to juggle this heart up and down. I really think there should be some safety railings back there. But this is one of those weird, maybe dare I say, ill thought out. How many times have you looked at this dagger, by the way, in great detail? Little face on it. It's like a little like lightning up the side of it almost. Very cool. It's a bit of solid demonetization. I remember this area with Thorny Bjorny. Thorny Bjorny. I ran through it because it was too difficult. For whatever reason, it's maybe because I spent so much more time shopping. I was a lot more solo self-found with that guy. This time, I'm actually doing okay. I think my resists are very decent. I actually got to look at some of the doodads, little features. These guys especially. I mean, I'm very. As soon as I did that, I'm very glad that they called them cadavers. So I'm hoping that's not the guy's name because he'd be dead now. These guys just hanging around. We're close to a duel slot, so I am going to try and get as much increased poison duration as I can and magnitude. So we've got duration, we've got magnitude. We can get a chance to poison as well. Those are kind of the three best ones for duels that I could see. Everything costs an exalted orb, so I don't know if I'm overpaying or not at this point. And call me crazy, and I think I may have been, but I've upgraded the amulet as well. I mean, the evasion rating, I just feel like maybe I should be really pushing into it. So that's the stat I was looking for more than anything else. And I thought it probably best to get some chaos resistance as well. I'm always messing around with these guys, by the way. I'm desperate for there to be another slot in punch. Big Brain in the comments said they did a similar thing, but had a punch on the offhand as well. So they had like punch where you could like maybe build rage and then switch to punch and you could do something else. Or maybe a bleed on one and then poison on the other. That is such a good idea. I, of course, did not do that before it was too late. But I was enjoying myself at this point. I know there's a whole other act of pure, desperate misery ahead of me. But I'm like, this is the end of Act 3, and we're doing okay. I mean, look, I'm still taking damage. Can't really stand still for any great length of time. Otherwise, it's certain an immediate death. You know, for a little bit, I'm okay. The trick really is just get some little larvae, little woodlouse. I think you call them pill bugs. Oh, my first Varl orb as well. This guy, less said the better. It definitely looked like it was a certain body part trapped in there rather than his intestines, which I think I worked out it was in the end. Small creatures like the pill bugs or woodlouse, depending on where you are in the world. One of those exploding, the rest of them gone. But anyway, let's not get distracted. We have, for all intents and purposes, a very arduous, grueling fight against Dayani, who is very capable at many parts of this fight of killing me immediately. So we've got to have our wits about her. I do not have my wits about me, but I've got my fists ready, poised. This first stage, yeah, I'm not a great fan of bosses. This is also my criticism of the end of Act 4, by the way. Semi-pointless early stage, which feels like, well, what are we doing? What are we doing here? Come on, guys. We all know I'm better than this. We know you're better than this. I really don't want to play a Deadeye. I know that's kind of like the go-to meta everyone plays. But part of me's thinking maybe this game would be... I'd view this game very differently if I could just whiz through it. That's part of the reason why I think the totem run might be quite good fun. I think the skeleton run could be fun, but if I mix into different skeletons, if I just do pure physical skeletons, it's going to be horrid. That's part of the reason why I want to do it, because I think it'd be quite funny. But we're fine. We're into the second stage. I'm drained at the idea of his hit points being back to the top again. Nothing I can't punch my way through. I actually had a quick look on Netflix today on the USA, What's Number One? Liam Neeson film. Some random film from like 2021. He's still bringing in the numbers, guys. He's still relevant, is what I'm trying to tell you. No, I love the guy. I don't think there's many other actors that I like as much. Of the old era, or older era, because he's kind of mid. Not in that sense, but in like there was some really really good like 80s action movie stars like Jackie Chan and JCVD, Arnie, even Sylvester Stallone. I didn't mind him. I mean, the Rambo movies are incredible, and Rockies of course. Cliffhanger, actually, he's got some pretty decent films under his belt. Copland, that's another good one. But there's a weird moment into the 90s where we only really had Tom Cruise being reliable. Can't think of anyone in the 90s that was that reliable. In the 90s, you're either good looking or you were Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks isn't bad looking, by the way, but he's pretty much an everyman. What? The fight's over. I've been rambling. There were some mechanics in there, which maybe I should have mentioned, like his big smash down that was a bit dodge. But actually, with the sprint mechanic, a lot of those have been trivialized. So Dr. Robotnik has got nothing on me. We have completed Act 3, what would otherwise be interesting items as well. I mean, it's always nice to find a unique. Rubbish ring for this point, really. But yeah, 2 uniques is very decent. And I did have a look at this like decompose. I didn't feel comfortable about it. Plus, I didn't actually know if it was going to be that good. But super cool. I mean, this is why uniques are unique, right? Adding stuff like that is just a joy. But that's it. I've completed everything that I've completed in the past. This is completely fresh. I've never fought any of these creatures. I've never been to any of these areas before. This whole experience is completely new. So, man, I'm really pumped. It looks like it's a boat land, or at least it's a dock. Presumably I've sailed over to a windmill. I hope it's not just another generic town.
We're here. Guess it's time to wake up.
Oh, it looks really nice. This actually looks incredible. I mean, my frames are really hurting, but that might just be because it's kind of loading it in. But yeah, this looks really, really good. It actually gives me like Titan Quest vibes. I now realise that most of you have never played Titan Quest before, but based on the popularity of that video.
Come visit my shop sometime.
I don't trust this guy at all. If he doesn't betray us by the end, then I don't know anything about people.
The name's Tujin. I'm the harbour
Who-
master around here.
Yeah, I mean, some good voice acting as well, I've got to say.
Down the pier. Before you go. See,
Before you go, the thing about you might know me by now, especially if you watched my Infinity Engine runs, like my Baldur's Gate Icewind Dale runs. I love a good impression. A lot of English actors, I feel like I can kind of do. It's just definitely me overestimating my skills. But this shop is incredible. This is brilliant. Look at that. Have you seen this banana before? Did you realize there's a banana here? If you didn't, you've not played this game. You've not properly looked at this. Look at this sword up here as well. How many other bananas are we going to find? None down here, unfortunately. I'm playing some Diablo 2 music, so I actually don't have the OST downloaded. I couldn't find it. I didn't want to risk it. There's another banana. It's a banana hunt. This is incredible. If you haven't found at least 2 bananas, I don't respect you as a human being.
I know that kind of fake smile.
I've got to say, I'm really looking forward to.
Farewell.
I mean, look, this is for those that know. I've edited this. I kind of know what's coming, but it's been a while since I've done this. I've got a very short memory, so normally I kind of edit it. I play it, finish it, edit it straight away, and then do the voiceover. But I've left it a few days for whatever reason, other commitments. So it feels a little fresher. I just could not believe how excited I was that there was a waypoint on the back of a ship. This is like my dream of a game forever.
Watch your step, eh? Slip overboard and you're
This
on
is
your own.
brilliant.
Canoe, first mate
The-
of the Aurora. If you're looking for a
The
ship,
voice acting is incredible.
Voice just won.
my nana
The boat
always
looks
said,
absolutely
"Smile
awesome.
speaks 1,000 words." Pleased to
And the
meet
fact there's a waypoint on the back of my boat that I get to sail around the islands.
Welcome aboard. I'm McCall,
They've done it.
captain of
They've
the
made the
Aurora.
perfect game. We're there, guys.
Then the hard work is done. We can take
think-
you wherever you
I do think the game would be. I mean, I don't know. I actually didn't listen to any of the soundtrack, by the way. I can't recall with the soundtrack on, so I've no idea what the soundtrack's like for this area.
arrived.
But yeah, I
Shouldn't be
was having a lot of fun
this place
immediately.
hates us. Can't you feel it?
The fact that this guy has got voice lines for when you decide to just run off when he's having a chat with you. Fair enough. It's so good. And these are the locals. They look really unpleasant and horrible. Okay. Now, look at this. Infernal Cry. I was a little bit reluctant to use Infernal Cry. One, I've used it a lot before. Two, I'll always forget to use it. And yeah, I did forget to use it pretty much all the time. So, love this little, like, I'm finding a map on islands. Unfortunately, I'm also finding some real fatties. Who's this guy? Vault Grind? Dude, that is not a catchy name. And you've got way too many friends here. 12 crossbowmen. I think the problem is, big groups like this really play to my strengths. Don't think Vault Grind's going to survive. I don't know how much damage Infernal Cry is really doing. I mean, it's just a little bit extra. But I need every DPS I can get. And there is some detail here, guys. Look at this: statues, shipwrecks, coral, anchors. There is a lot. There is a lot to enjoy. Just so many like nice little details. This like sunken statue. What's the story? I know it's really easy. It's a really weird combination of incredible environments and fast-paced gameplay. Oh, and that's a nice little hark back. The Twig Circular. I think that was the first unique we had in my Thorns Only run. The Pacifist run. I keep mentioning it. It's like I'm trying to plug it. It's the only other time I've really played the game, so. We are taking a lot of damage. I've got to say, we still have high vulnerability. But we're making bank. I think I probably spent a little bit too much time going back to town, buying and selling. And also spent way, way too much time on every little side area. And this was really cool. Just like a huge treasure trove at the end of a ship. What a terrible place to put all your treasure. Luckily, it didn't fall into the sea. I've grown up by the sea, so I know how to exactly where to punch a seagull. The mechanic of having these like abyssal troves was really, really beneficial for this particular run, I've got to say. We definitely benefited with this particular build and its way of like chaining poison. I think we probably helped with experience, helped with leveling massively.
These ancestral totems are a menace that remain from ancient days.
Cool. I was pretty duped by this, I've got to say, when I first played through it. But this was maybe the most significant moment in the entire game. When I saw that ridiculously cool giant turtle, and I was like, oh my goodness me. Why have I not seen that guy before? Where is he? Where does he live? I want to be a part of his life. The relationship was unfortunately quite short-lived. Few creatures though, in a lot of the armored strong boxes, I'm guessing it just draws from a pool of every creature possible. Being rammed into a corner by them, I mean, everything went fine, of course. I think you're starting to understand some of the inspiration for the thumbnail that would otherwise make almost no sense whatsoever. I mean, I remember this area very vividly. I think it was Act 3 I did, and then had a little bit of a pause, and then did a lot of Act 4 in a week or so. I mean, there was a lot of gameplay involved in this. But the environments, I mean, look, I actually didn't like this particular island that much. But it gets so good so quickly that, yeah, don't underestimate how good Act 4 is just because of what you've seen so far. But I put Poison 1 on the Infernal Cry. I'm not actually sure if it works like that, because I've got Poison 2 on my punch attack. Look at this little area though. The waves crashing in the distance. A lot of these areas remind me of Dark Souls 2. I don't know what it is about that game, but it really hit me in the feels. And I'm still getting a little bit carried away with Evasion at this point. What I don't realise is that it's pointless, and I should despec from Evasion as quickly as possible. And just max out damage. I like the way you can kind of see that I know it's a boss arena. He knows it's a boss arena. I know that he knows. But I'm just being a bit coy. I'm teasing myself into the fight. So we've got Johnny Depp impersonator here. Embarrassing, really. Sad. Although I do like Johnny Depp. Don't get me started. Some of his back catalogue. Yeah. I really want to see some of his newer art house films, by the way. I'm a real art house film kind of guy. Put it in black and white. make it in another language, I'll probably think it's quite good. Like, I tell you what, I really like Stalker, the original like OG Stalker film. I absolutely love. Watch it if you haven't. I'm sure you can find it on YouTube. If you can't, I'm going to say buy it, but we all know what you're going to do. You disgust me. Now this guy, he seems so simple, and yet he is the strongest creature in the entire world that I've ever faced. He's not quite Mighty Silverfist level, but he's kind of like, let's lull you in with the idea that we're having a fair fight, and then just pull out some ridiculous bullshit attack move, which almost one-shots you every single time. I did actually quite like a lot of the moves he had were very cool. At this point, I'm not even sure if I should be fighting him. This might be an optional island. It's worth explaining at this point. I'm watching this entire video back, almost as a slideshow, because I've recorded this at such a high quality. I can't watch it back. So I'm guessing I've probably died by this point. Yeah, I have. I can see it now. But it's quite an annoying way of watching the game. Was it not as annoying as watching me, I'm sure, if you don't like me. Because I love one guy I remember saying, "You talk too much." And watch something else, you idiot. What are you doing? It's like, I can't be bothered. It's like when the good old days when you used to watch it on TV, like, why am I watching this? I just can't be bothered to touch the remote. We're back. We're back in Jurassic Park. We're on a necessary sequel. I'm just thinking at this point, there's no way I'm going to get past that guy. So I decide to fight the single hardest creature, the god of all fights. I'm assuming here that I've got slightly better mods to the arena, but actually this like swirling laser thing made it super stressful. This is a fight you want no distractions on whatsoever, and I've got many distractions. I fought this piece of shit so many times. I actually think I might be one of the best at fighting him with punch in the entire world right now. It doesn't look like it now. I didn't realize what was about to happen. Yeah, but I got to the point where I'd spent so many hours of my life just intensely frustrating by this waddling twat. Absolute misery. I mean, this attack is so annoying. I just want to ascend. It must be an issue with RNG. I'm just getting bad RNG. And actually, yes, I did get bad RNG. I was like, what? There are multiple bosses you can get at the 4th stage, and I got a boss that I found ludicrously easy. Now, part of me was like, oh, they must have pumped him up for this. He'll be a real like muscle boy. No, really easy. And they've made the mistake of making it like multi-leveled, which means if you get things like annoying shooty turrets or like some vile whatever that shoots waves of lightning, it doesn't matter. It's on a different level. So there's a little bit of like, okay, I've got to be a bit cautious. I was generally kind of like dodging out of the way whenever he was triggering some of his bigger attacks. But I'm already trained. How can they have this fight and also have the bird bastard, the god of misery, feathered puke bastard of hell, and they've got this, another flying dog? What the hell? This just seems so unbalanced. Mate, I don't know what it is. I was about to say maybe, but it sounded more like mate. Seriously, mate. Easy. Trial complete. Flying dog number 2, who didn't even fly. Pathetic. Your mum did better than that. We're in the treasure room. Who cares? But we're feeling good. What is that? Do you know, I don't think I ever looked at that item again. But yes, overwhelming toxicity. So we doubled the amount of poisons we can inflict at the same time. The irritating thing, we've got 35% less duration. So actually it's going to be harder for us to inflict that many toxins unless we have things like attack speed or poison duration, which we don't. Let's maybe get another cheeky level up before we get to Fat Johnny Depp. And we're pushing as much poison duration as possible. Now building toxins, +1, technically now +2 poisons. I think we're going to have to get rid of it. We don't want anything that reduces duration anymore. We can use those points somewhere else. In this case, we're looking for attack speed now. We want to have enough attack speed, Maybe even some attack damage. We'll see if that works as well. Maybe I've been a fool. I've been a fool. Maybe we should be pushing attack speed and attack damage. Just some raw physical damage. Oh my god, it goes up. 70 DPS. That's a not insignificant increase. 77. Lord. Oh, we've made a mistake. We've made so many mistakes. We're learning. I'm looking at this. I'm thinking this might be one of the best jewels I could possibly buy. Poison duration and poison magnitude. And poison chance to hit. We don't really need that. But it's a nice to have, right? There. And this is an easy way to get me to spill my drink on my laptop. What? The worst thing about this whole thing, actually they're very kind with the time they give you. It's the fact that I ran out the wrong way. I had to like circle around a new area. But man, that's super cool. That's unnecessary to add in such quality. So to really get this build to work, we need a little bit more spirit. I have no idea where we're going to get it from. But I ended up checking on armor. How can I get more spirit? I can actually get spirit through a corrupted version. Now look, we're losing the sockets. We are basically buying a worse version of the armor we've already. But that extra 4 means we can have Withering Spirit, and we can have the Blasphemy Aura and Despair. I think I got that right. It's a shame to lose the slots though. I only realised afterwards that you can't socket corrupted items. I think they have a pretty solid chance to get extra sockets as part of their corruption, of course. I don't know. I actually really haven't corrupted much in this game at all, other than your virgin minds with my terrible love of 90s action heroes. I'm assuming at this point that Captain Hartlin is going to be the easiest fight I've ever come up against. Now, the irritation I have... So unfortunately, he keeps attacking me, which means I can't inflict enough poison on him, and my duration has been crippled by my Ascendancy. So I now feel like I'm not sure if the life decisions I've made are quite what they should be. The good thing is, he actually has a stage where he summons. So the best thing we can do to really put as many poison stacks on him as possible is to kill all of his ads at the same time. Actually does get us up to 6. It also gets us killed. 964 hit points in one go. I'm not sure if that's fun, guys. You've made a great game. Why are you making it difficult for me to play? And oftentimes, this is one of the first ARPG experiences where I literally had to say to myself, it's because you're not very good at the game. So, and immediately distracted by how cool that anchor, the anchor that crushes itself, like decays. Oh man, it looks so good as it crumbles away. But I just needed to get better. With all of these fights, I just needed to be a better version of myself. So at the moment, I just need to get good. The bird is annoying me now in the back of my mind. But I was still super... That is close. I've got to say, that actually makes my heart go. There are many times in this where I died at the very end of the fight. And I couldn't quite remember if that was one of them. But no, never a doubt. First time? First time I beat him, maybe.
Hope this does what Freya says it will.
Part of me actually thought, oh, I really hope that was actually important to do. Maybe that was an optional boss. I'm not sure at this point. But at least we can rescue this woman and she can tell us what's going down. Now, when you rescue a woman, you don't want a tooltip to come up saying, survive the madness. Because that is the autobiography of my life. And I'm getting hit. This is horrible. This completely took me by surprise, as you can tell by my panic rolling, the fact that I'm very injured, and the fact that I'm really looking for a way out of this entire boss arena, which fortunately I find. Now look, the annoying thing is, I need to kill one of these guys, and I need to chain the damage into the rest of the arena. But I honestly couldn't do that. I ended up kind of picking them off in little groups, which was not good for the longevity of the fight that's about to happen against Omniphobia. Now, Omni means everything. Like omnipotent, I know everything. Omniphobia means to be scared of everything. Yeah, I'm a little bit like this in Act 4, I've got to say. I'm mostly afraid of the amount of time I've wasted punching characters on a screen. No, that's not true. Quality time. Quality spent time with you guys, of course. I think my biggest regret, actually watching this back, my biggest regret almost of the entire run he's not killing all of his ads around this guy, because it would have taken probably half of his hit points away. Instead, I had a very like sloggy fight. Okay, because his attacks are very easy to dodge. He telegraphs very like confidently of his own ability. A man who clearly is afraid of nothing and everything at the same time. So actually quite an easy fight, but that kind of annoyed me slightly because I'm assuming at some point it's going to get really difficult, and it didn't really. The difficult thing was the beginning of the fight because I was completely surprised. I'm hoping at some point he's going to turn back into an old woman so I can sock her in the face. That doesn't happen, unfortunately, so I'll have to make do with just getting complete. I mean, look, it's great that I managed to beat this guy. He dropped a lot of stuff that I'm like, nah, not learning that. And Manny dies like a dog in a skip, dead. Feels like we've done a good thing. There's a lot of like weird noises around this area, so I feel like I probably haven't done the full cleanup, but we'll leave the rest of the Ghostbusters. We'll head to, I don't know actually. I mean, look, I love this map. I love the choice is so cool. I mean, imagine the whole game was like this. You could just go to random different. I shouldn't be thinking like that. I beg your pardon? Sure. I'm not sure if she's saying that right. I think probably she is. But maybe not one to repeat in front of the family. I might say, where you go on holiday this year? Prophet Ezekiel. Oh, thanks for asking. Fuck a bunny. No, my luck probably will be. That's probably the closest I'll get to the South Pacific. I'd love to go to like Tonga, Samoa, Fiji. I mean, look, that whole trip is something everyone should do at some point. I'd love to do Australia. Absolutely love it. I actually think Australians have got one of the best sense of humour of anyone. I've just been watching Mr. In Between for the second time. That is a series you need to watch. It's probably one of the best TV series I've ever seen. It's up there with like Breaking Bad quality. Absolutely love it. But that's an Australian TV show. But yeah, incredible. And of course, bolstered with confidence, I managed to get myself completely tangled up. This happened quite a lot, I'll be honest. It's like, oh, am I going to make it or not? Generally not. But when I could get like a very big group that kept coming, especially if you've got like a little Abyssal, like Trove, honestly, the experience was incredible. So in this little area, 20% of a level in about 20 seconds.
Nice.
Easy mode. It was the first time I came across Tame Beast. I'm actually looking for a lot of the time. Tell me if you guys can think of one. A creature that just punches. Because I would have had this guy with me the whole time. Unfortunately, there are creatures that slap and flail, but none of them really punch.
Guess I'm fighting my way out.
This gives me real like Path of Exile 1 vibes. One of the reasons I want to do a totem only run is because I know that was a really big, well, it was something you could do in Path of Exile 1, and I never did it. And I felt like the totems were really cool in that game as well, and it just passed me by. So that's why I want to just get into it with the Path of Exile 2. You know, I don't actually know, and this might be blasphemous. I know a lot of the guys who do Path of Exile 2 also do Path of Exile 1, because I chat to a lot of the content creators who do Path of Exile now. And Path of Exile 1 is still very much like a passion for them. But to me, it's tough to go back. Like, I love the mobility of this game. What a boring boss this was. And some boring... What? I'm not quite sure how significant this is. But I've never found that item before. And that's going to really annoy some people. That's a bit like my Stone of Jordan on my Poison Creeper only run. What? That luck. But anyway, we'll move on. I'm going to spend that in the worst way possible just to annoy you as well. Just to annoy you. But these are like coves. Oh man, it looks so good. This looks incredible. When did graphics get this good? I was fine with the PlayStation 1. PlayStation 2 was actually probably a bit too much for me. But yeah, this is incredible. I don't mind terrible graphics. I actually probably do need about 90 FPS these days. This looks, oh my god, this is so good. So cool. Every environment just gives so much. I mean, you skip past this and you're like, skip this area. In fact, the boss is coming up. Probably would recommend to skip. It's a shame because the environment they're in is very, very good. I assumed, having already beaten these guys in the first video, you'll remember at least one of these, as the end of the first Ascendancy trial, that 2 would be pretty easy. They weren't. They were really tough, so I ignored them, assuming that the reward would be insignificant. I hope it is. Who's this? We got a big boy here. He's giving me that kind of Weta Workshop vibes. Groot, Lord of Kin. Sure what kin he's referring to. Once again, I actually think Punch is semi-overpowered in this. A lot of his stomp attacks, and I'm sure there's a leg I could probably target, and it would make me largely invulnerable to all his attacks. But you can see I'm way too close for him to be. I mean, he should really just try and pick me up and throw me in the lava. But we are going to have to endure what is going to be a very long fight, unfortunately. For your viewing pleasure, of course, heavily edited. But for my playing displeasure, I have to. A lot of the challenge of these runs is remaining in a state of concentration for a large length of time. Even 5 minutes of like properly concentrating so I don't get attacked too much, or if he suddenly gets to another stage and I need to be like, okay, we're on now. Got to quickly like review how tactics are working. At this point, now he's eaten some of that kind of voltaic cheese, I'm guessing. I'm not quite sure. I'm pretty certain that was another league I did, was the voltaic mines. So I'm semi like aware of what this substance is. His stomps now have this lightning kind of AoE, which makes it a little bit less pleasant to be fighting him. And actually, if I'm not directly below his feet, then that like whip attack is pretty nasty. I can hear someone shouting at me, which, to be honest, as we all know, is really annoying. I also think his cage looks like I could squeeze through the gaps, especially during a distraction like this. You could easily squeeze through the gaps of that cage. Now, 1 big puke pile, manageable. 2, actually really does reduce the arena size. I was doing my best to try and pull him to one side of the arena so he could vacate his stomach, and then I could move him somewhere else. But it's actually very difficult to do so. For me, at least, it was very difficult to do so. Luckily, by the time the first one was kind of, appeared, the second was about to disappear, so it was relatively manageable. The sneeze attack was actually pretty strong. Most of the other attacks you kind of dodged past, and it was okay. There is clearly a very, very big issue in terms of poison stacks. I can only really get 4 with a sustained attack up. So we need to still extend that duration as best as possible. And that was a long fight. Cheese King really cheesed him in the end. Unbelievable. I mean, this door doesn't look that tough. It didn't even have a lock on it. Are you kidding me?
Talamoana, stranger. My eyes could barely keep up with you.
Luckily, it's a really good voice actor, so all is forgiven. This was maybe the single best thing about Act 4. I was really enjoying it at this point, I've got to say. But the fact there are like PvP, PvE/PvP type fights against Kyasa the Flaming Hand here. And I'm like, this looks like a player. This is incredible. It looks so cool. It was completely out of the blue as well. So I was really like, what? There's a little like weird boss here? And it's a player? Incredible, incredible. More of this. Loads more of this. I love this so much. I kind of wish there was one of these on every island. Maybe there is. But I only found 2, I think, in my whole run. But this was, wow. I was blown away. It's such a good idea. And I couldn't believe how well implemented it was. And it was tough as well. For whatever reason, it was just very well scaled. Like, it felt like pretty epic kind of match-up between the 2 of us. Fortunately for Nyasa, the Flaming Hand, all I needed to do was get her in a good enough group of ads. And maybe this season was particularly kind to me with how many creatures there are on here. But it didn't take long for Nyasa to, unfortunately, maybe just really roll in the wrong direction As soon as she kind of walked into that little bit there, it was over. And when I realised she dropped all of her gear, wow. Just wow. You've done it, guys. And then I realised, and you can see there, I didn't realise at the time, but it's socketed. So it's actually like socketed with stuff. All of the stats, kind of a pretty good, this is a pretty decent item. There's life, there's rarity, intelligence, like all of them are like thematically worked with the build. Not 100%. I mean, at that point you'd be wearing uniques and rares maybe, but
In the eyes of the
super
Arcadey,
cool.
I'm not a man.
He's not a man, according to himself. God, I tell you what, kids these days.
A warrior.
286 DPS. I mean, we're still not hollow hand quality, but we're getting there. Now I'm picking islands at total random at this point. This one, particularly nice. Very nice. Nice, relaxing. Actually, immediately gave me Path of Exile 1 vibes as well. Kind of like coastline. I'm sure that's quite early on in the campaign when you get out of like first little areas, first few areas. Ended up being a very unpleasant area because everything was so tough. Maybe at this point I'm just, and this was kind of maybe it's part of my problem with maps. It just got to a point where this is maybe a Path of Exile 1 criticism. I got to maps, and if the build wasn't good enough, I was just getting one shot by so many creatures. I just thought, like, I've just not built this character properly at all. And then the kind of fun evaporates. So I do think the way to go into this game is to plan a little bit about what you want and really build towards that as best you can. Otherwise, you find yourself completely gimped at a certain point and be like, actually, this just isn't working out. It's not very easy to go back from there. I've completely bypassed the fact, because I'm watching it as a slideshow, the fact that I've got a fire shrine, which again feels like this might be the first time I've come up against a shrine in the game. But real, like, indicative of Path of Exile. It really feels like maybe some of these, I mean, of course I know now in hindsight that loads of these islands are actually really related to the campaign for Path of Exile. And I'm loving these little birds, by the way, because it really reminds me of that absolute piece of garbage. Bird garbage. I'm going to put in the bin one day. Oh, are you kidding me? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is make sure that none of these... And it is this absolute will. I will kill every one of these babies before this fight even starts to ensure that your legacy will never continue. There is no way. There's no words. Normally at this point, I'd be like, oh, Fade to Black, we'll do a little poem. No. I hate this bird so much. I just can't even... I've already gone... There are moments in this, especially with the older caravan woman, where I felt like I'm the only crazy one here. This bird has tipped me. These attacks are insanely overpowered. There's no way you can fight this bird. I don't understand who designed this. The attacks are so damaging. You have to concentrate endlessly. I maybe get like a few hits up. It's so easy to get clipped on the wings as well, which means you get hit by that attack. At this point, I'm maybe 3 or 4 minutes into a fight, and I've barely done a quarter of the health, and it gets so much worse, so much quicker. I actually needed to like pause and be like, what am I doing wrong here? At least I've got one like charm here, which can staunch the bleeding momentarily, but that's not going to be enough. The trick is, and like I know the trick, completely ignore the dog. It's just gonna get you killed. Ignore it. Well, I will spend a divine orb ending this misery. And one of the best suggestions I had was the Rondel of Fragility, the Lunar Amulet. The Rondel of Fragility is incredible. One of you guys suggested that it was like a absolute 100% every time you start a run. Get this. The stats are ludicrous. The question is, I am sacrificing resistances. Is that worth it? Maybe it is for that much more damage. The skill speed, I think, is a universal improvement in every attack, skill, whatever. So it should improve my punch damage. There's more stuff I probably want to change. I'm trying to compare one against the other, but I think I need to just throw a punch. Up to 142. Okay, that's big. That's going to be a very significant increase in damage. And honestly, guys, I I could feel it immediately. Unfortunately, the servers felt it immediately too. And this was the first death from latency. So that little spike there you can see was when I died. That I will never play hardcore in this game. If you insist on making it online, then hardcore is not a game mode. But we're back against Sky Bitch, the Feathered Fart, the arsehole Avian from the Netherworld, the Scourge of my fun. That attack is so difficult to dodge as well. That attack's pretty difficult to dodge because it basically targets you wherever it is. That like puke attack. The slam attack, if you get clipped, it's game over. What can you do? You've just got to see it. I'm on edge. I feel like at this point I'm locked in. I'm not 100% sure if I am. It feels like I'm getting there. We're doing very well. Oh my god. The spike blood loss attack, it feels like absolute chance. And at this point, I'm just wasting time. There was no chance of me actually attacking. He's just flailing around like an absolute idiot. It's so annoying. It's the worst fight of any fight ever made, ever. And I hate him so much. I just have to lock in. I mean, it's pure luck at that point. You dodge in a direction, and there's no reaction. I simply don't know the reaction time, and this is ridiculous. The blood loss there. I mean, what am I supposed to do? And I feel like I'm doing well, and that's it. Over 900 hit points gone in one attack. And look at him, his stupid face. I was officially upset at this point. The main thing is I didn't want to have to do another like 15 minutes of the fight, but I did it. I locked in. For you guys, I knew I had to do it. Was I getting better at the fight? No. It's not a fight you can get better at. It's a fight you can get lucky at. Am I going to hit by the blood loss attack? Maybe. Am I going to get hit because the plagueling gets in the way? Maybe. It feels like I'm good at the fight. I know when to dodge. I know what to do in different places. I know what... Maybe I know. It's just a case of getting good. It's just the most stressful fight I've ever been a part of. I'm just so on edge right now. It's just a horrible... I would shout at anyone for doing something nice to me. I just need this guy to die. Please, no, not... Right. It's time to lock in. There is no way I was going to go to bed ever again until this creature was dead. And I knew, as soon as I fought it again, I was a different man. I knew there was absolutely no chance I was going to let this creature ruin my life. Clearly I wasn't locked in quite enough. There is no way I was going to let this ruin what is otherwise a fantastic game. I am going to beat this creature. It is going to die, and I'm going to enjoy punching its baby to death. The feeling of defeating that bird for the first time. Actually, it didn't take that long. Wow, it's 11 minutes of that horrid fight. It's so tough. But the real pleasure of the fight, the fact that the plagueling looks a bit sad. Oh, Deckard, it looks a bit sad. Oh no, what are we going to do? His mummy's dead. That's right, I'm going to punch it to death next to the dead, barely dead, still warm corpse of its mother. I'm going to smash its face in with my fist. I'm going to make sure it sees everyone it loves dead. I want it to suffer as I have suffered, as you have suffered. Let's make sure it right next to the corpse of one of his babies. This is your little baby, and I'm going to kill you right in front of it. And I'm going to dance in front of the children, dance in front of the dead children I've stomped over. May this be the end of this species forever.
I spent a week on this beach a couple summers ago.
Oh, you spent some time on the beach. Oh, that was nice. I just danced around the dead babies of some creature I just punched to death. But that's a nice story. Luckily, I'm normal. Killer Instinct felt like a. I'm just gonna suddenly be normal again. Yeah, I am a normal person. I'm not crazy. Killer Instinct felt like I do spend a lot of time either on low health or full health, so it felt like it could be quite a decent damage jump. This feels a lot like a boss arena to me.
Clearly no common beast.
Suspicious scenery here. Whether I'm ready for a boss after what I've just endured, I'm not sure. But it's what the game's all about, so we're going to have to do it. Quite an interesting boss. Quite good fun. I'm going to say there's like a blood trail that you get when you get hit by him. I'm not really sure if that makes a difference. I think it's more of like a... I'm actually not sure if I really have the time to read it. That's maybe one of my criticisms of the game is they introduce so many like different attacks and, you know, auras and curses and stuff that you can be hit by. But if it's bespoke to a fight, I'm not going to be like, oh, you now take 20% more damage from fish piles, from piranha pools, when you're inflicted with this particular, you know, debuff. Bit of a kind of like weird gimmicky fight though. I don't know if it really fits. I'm actually going to go to say I don't like it. I thought it was okay. I mean, the actual melee part of the fight was quite tough because you can't really sustain that many hits. So I am compelled to dodge. I've got to say the whole piranha pools gimmick. I mean, a lot of this this part. Just go to the other side of the arena, right? Okay, what am I supposed to be doing now? I mean, I'm not going to get hit by that. And then, okay, there's a bit of a melee. Oh, is that whirlwind going to stay? Nah. It feels a bit weird. Maybe if the pools stayed forever and you had to be really careful about where you moved the fight as it went on, I think it might be slightly better. A bit of Sharky and George reference. Some of you guys might get that. Crime Busters of the Sea. This I really liked, by the way. This is like a creature in a cave. I also knew that I could not be bothered to not fight him without creatures exploding around him. So let's lure the monkeys and rower towards him, and then confidently. Oh, okay. He's come to me. This is bad. Yeah, and that's that's so easy. And he never came back. He went back to his home planet. Damn. Map piece. Forgot about the old torn map piece. I do quite like these elephant tortoises. They give me that kind of Lord of the Rings vibe, for whatever reason. But this environment, this was my favourite environment, maybe. Just like, oh man, it's just so cool. Words escape me. Looks incredible. Like, just feels cool. Feels really relaxing. Like these kind of subterranean jellyfish pools with their glow. It's just incredible. Immediately, I'm like, okay, this whole area is giving me a vibe. Sure, this is an early Path of Exile, right? Yeah, of course. That's kind of what they're going for with this act, which I love, by the way.
Only slow me down.
I think it's like the argument for playing Path of Exile is. I'm not going to say it because I'm going to annoy too many of you, but almost as annoying as trying to find the last egg. Assuming when I hit the egg that some bloody giant spider creature would jump in. Someone would scream. But no, we are in some trouble by the looks of it. Some kind of Medusa creature ahead of us. Actually sounds like a mermaid, a siren, sorry. People are going to hate me for getting that wrong. One of the biggest issues is server latency, so we might wait for that to... Annoyingly, of course, for many of you, we muster in a sexy form. Surprised they didn't just recycle the fact that... I don't know when this game is set in relation to the first game, but I think Mavail, the Siren, is the boss at the end of the... Not the boss at the end of the first act, that's Hillock or the Warden, I can't remember. But definitely a very big boss fight in the first act of the first game. And this is definitely a play on that. Very pedestrian fight to begin with, I've got to say. These kind of early attacks, pretty easy to dodge. He says, yeah, absolutely ruined there. My resistance is, I'm guessing maybe cold resistance. I'm not quite sure what water would be as an elemental resistance. But I don't think my cold resist is the best. And that is the most questionable hitbox I've almost ever seen. Okay, maybe not. Maybe not. And here's a... Whoa. Pause the video. There, please don't. Please don't make that a spike in the video. Can you imagine? It's just an anglerfish. Early fights. I don't really expect to beat any boss first time. That's maybe like a relief when you're fighting bosses. You haven't got that like desperation to need to beat everything first time. I'm just learning how the fight goes. I'm learning how... Okay, we get to the next stage. What should I expect? Well, look. There's no way I'm going to get hit by whatever that light aura is. And I'm very pleased to see some ads. But I'm not pleased to see these brine maidens. Mainly because they've got such a high chance to chill. Getting frozen at this point would be a death sentence. Especially if that mermaid... Sorry, I keep calling her a mermaid. The kind of siren song hits me, and then I think I'm in real trouble. The nice thing is, because I'm not actually capable of killing anything, I've got a very big group. So when, I was going to call it Merveil then, Diamora finally drops back down, we should be in the money. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to survive that long. So what I don't want to happen now, I mean, I'm frozen, oh, this is bad, okay. And the last thing I want is for them all to explode and for her not to be around. I've got a feeling that's going to happen. If all of these die around her, I think we're probably going to beat her immediately. This is real Dark Souls 3 boss fight we're doing here. No. We're just wasting there. Some very good exploding torsos, which I think would make this fight very, very easy immediately. I'm guessing by the amount of hit points she's got, that's not going to be any time we're going to get a lot of summons, so we've just got to be patient. The real issue is these shooters. He's got a shooter. These shooters, these brine maidens are a real pain. It's the kind of like endless dry. I mean, I'm just taking so much damage. This is ridiculous that I'm even still alive. My pot is empty. It's getting very empty. Unfortunately, in this particular round, it emptied entirely, and there's nothing I could do. What I did find when exploring was the allure of a beckoning clam. We've all been allured by a siren's beckoning clam before. Always trouble. It's always quite frustrating when there is someone who's a bit tough. Adelina here, Guardian of the Pearl. Because I really just need everyone to die next to her. And when you waste a decent pack, it's very frustrating. Because you know you're in for a real slog. Let's see what she's got in her pearl. Actually, one of the worst rolls I could have got there. 8, I think, is the lowest roll for the elemental resist, which is really quite frustrating. I'm actually so wealthy I can't be bothered to walk around to the hooded one. I've got no idea at any point if that's a good or bad. I feel like it's trash. Immediately loving this area, by the way. This is probably my favourite area, just this little bit here. Just feels so nice. Cozy. Bit of paddling. Throw yourself off if you want to kill yourself when you've had enough.
By the first ones, it's big enough to bury a god.
That's what she said. And where am I going from that gorgeous environment to now to this one? Incredible. Looks awesome. Such cool world building as well.
We call this place the mother of death.
I'm not going to go into too much detail because you'll see what happens. I'm like, okay, yeah. I mean, they're hitting hard. There's nothing I can't manage at this point. Except for the fact that I died. I am dead, technically.
I used to dream
And I died again.
finding buried treasure.
There's no way I'm going to be doing that. So the torn map pieces I've been scouring the land for. It's so hard finding all those pieces. Finally, we can do, again, something from one of the earlier seasons of Path of Exile 1. Where you plant explosives and you blow them up and creatures come up. It's a very cool mechanic. It took a long time to plant them in the area I wanted. I want to find this. I want to avoid this. And I was really suffering from some latency as well. But it started going well. And then suddenly I got chilled and killed. within maybe, I don't know, 3 of the 21 explosives I placed. What a waste of time. Right. I don't know about you, but I'm getting vibes from this place. Immediate vibes. There are too many people here. And they look too well armored. They're definitely, I'm definitely fighting these guys at some point. What I would suggest is that maybe they have their helmets off or something and look a bit more, just a little bit more welcoming, a little bit more a holiday. I feel a bit bad here. The only guy who seems to be doing any work just scared all the birds. You know, they probably would have vacated their bowels right on that decking there. And this, that's the house. That's the one you want, right? This just looks so cool, by the way. This might be one of my favorite places. This is like my dream holiday home, by the way. I would love to live in a place like that. Right by the coast. Noise of the sea. It's not, if I could do this job, and it is a job, if I could make YouTube videos, live in a place like that, man, life goals. Help me make it happen, please. Please, brothers. So you might think this guy's just skipping from island to island. He's not achieving anything. He's skipping too much. Because I found everywhere I went really tough. But I ended up on what was one of my least pleasant islands. This is pretty much what it's like in England at the moment. It doesn't rain as much as people say it rains in England, but it always kind of threatens. That's the problem. If you're in the north of England, then yeah, it does rain. Like, I don't know, a third of the year it's raining. But down in the south, it's a lot more manageable. And this is real, like Dark Souls 3. A lot of it, I mean, I talk about Dark Souls a lot, I know. I think they are very inspirational. I've actually only recently read Berserk as well. And that to me is, I can see why everything is a springboard from that. But Dark Souls is just a glorious series. And that's might be my complete arc for next year. Just finishing another Diablo 2 run. I feel quite a lot of fatigue when I play it, I'll be honest. I've exhausted a lot of the challenges I kind of want to do. And I mean, I love the game, don't get me wrong. But I really need like a real fresh approach to it. That's why playing this game's been so much fun, because this all feels so new. And these are like, oh, this is like the perfect encounter for Liam Neeson. And it's the satisfaction of the kind of boss equivalent not even getting close to me. Have I made the meta build? Definitely not. Definitely not. It's definitely been a lot of fun playing this. I think maybe doing something like this and also exploring a completely new environment and map and bosses at the same time makes it a little bit more palatable, because I'm exploring all this for kind of anew. But do I want to fight that bird boss with just skeletons? No, never. It might happen soon. Who knows? With the 0.4 patch, we'll see what happens with the druid and what kind of craziness comes out. I'm really hoping that third ascendancy or whatever it is, that third form they've not released yet, is going to be something absolutely out there. So someone suggested a mushroom. I would immediately play a mushroom. If it's like a static totem or a mushroom or just something out there, I'm in. That's the next video. That's in December though, and that, for those of you watching months after it's released, well, hold up, wait a minute. What is going on here? We're in an incredible environment, and I didn't even realize. Look at how glorious this is. Not only is the environment directly affecting my movement speed, but it looks incredible. This game, the Act 4 gives. It gives you so much, and then it just keeps giving. I'm trying at this point getting distracted by some of the rooms. To be honest, I'm really distracted by how well this rug is held up, despite the fact there are a huge amount of clams, like piles of clams and mussels and mollusks, general mollusks. General Mollusk is a very strong character name, by the way, for Path of Exile Cluedo. Whelks, cockles, winkles. You can tell I grew up near the sea. I'm basically like lexicon. Do you know, I actually honestly couldn't think of the word there. That's like the most embarrassing word not to be able to think of. I'm a thesaurus when it comes to seaside delicacies. Actually, they're not even delicacies. They're just creatures that live by the sea. But if they live by the sea, if they live anywhere, I've probably killed them and eaten them. I actually do quite like oysters as well. But let's not get too distracted. We're fighting. Straight with a ballista shot. It does nothing. This is a mechanic I've not yet fully understood. Is it one of them is the right one to choose? I'm really not sure. I think we just need to wait and do some damage. The Prisoner, terrible name. The incredibly imposing fortress to break into. Let's just use the third ballista just in case. It does nothing. The nice thing about Tame Beast, I'm getting distracted, but it does give you like its status, undead. I'm not sure there's too much that like does specific damage to like undead or monsters or whatever other groups of beasts. It's nice to know. Wish it gave you a little bit more at higher levels maybe. So we understand the ballista dynamic now. The main issue is that maybe I didn't realize when I first used it is I've got to use those ballistas very, very quickly when he gets to certain points. Otherwise, your man regenerates a huge amount of health. I'm not doing an insignificant amount of damage. Unfortunately, I am taking a significant amount of damage. And this particular attack, what was I doing wrong? Still not sure. Use a ballista, quick. He regenerates so much health. Little did I know. At that point, that is a pedestrian amount of health recovery. Maybe I didn't realize at the time. Well, that was a solid dodge I did there against what would otherwise be the most unpleasant boss skill. Almost of all boss skills. I've actually recently had this with my latest Diablo 2 run, which I'm very, very close to finishing, by the way. So that should come out hopefully like a week and a half after this. We are smashing through this guy's health. Probably didn't realize at that point how close I was to beating him. However, I got clipped by that particular attack and he has recovered a huge amount of health. It took me a while to realize that is probably the most demoralizing boss mechanic I've ever known in my entire life. It's weird because I almost immediately gave up. And there, when I got clipped again, and I was like, please, please, no, don't let it happen, no. Yeah, I actually gave up. It's weird because it's almost like the story of the character is nobody can defeat me because everyone eventually kind of gives up. I gave up. I mean, this is unnecessarily detailed scenes.
Seems I owe you a debt of thanks.
Wait, what do you have there? Is that
Although it looks like I just spoke to her, I actually went to another island, Googled what I do with a shark fin, and had to come back to talk to her. So I end up going back to Mermaid Land. We've got a very, very solid belt there. I thought it was a very solid belt. The ring. And the ring, so we got physical damage, cold damage. I mean, it's got it all. Read it in your spare time. But that to me felt like a very, very solid ring. Maybe just because the physical damage of the Ice Fang orbit isn't quite up there, it might be time to graduate. And my God, the damage was big. That is a big boost. And that hopefully is enough of a damage boost for me to be able to... Well, actually, hold up. Let's see if we can up some physical damage. So that's what, 9 more DPS just from doing that? So die more. We know we can get past the first stage because it's just stupid. It's too easy. I would like the first stage to be the hardest stage so I can kind of relax into the fight. I think for whatever reason, it felt like a lot of the like ranged attackers here, the Brine Maidens, is it? We didn't get nearly as many this time round as we had in previous. I don't fully understand exactly how the almost like wave mirrors were working there at the side, but it didn't seem to matter as long as you moved away from them quickly enough. This is a solid location now. We just got to make sure we time this perfectly. Wow. Okay. Wow. That is exactly what I wanted to see. Probably 25,000 damage there in one round. It's very, very solid. So I'm hoping here to have a similar session. Another 25,000 damage would be a massive chunk. Fortunately, we are taking way too much damage. We've also got to be really careful of that chill meter at the side. If we do get frozen in a decent enough pack, we're going to be in trouble. I was kind of holding out here for another, you know, big batch of creatures. Need it. Tits McGee. Dead. Actually, fight didn't take too long. I mean, I said that's a long fight relative to any other fight in any other game. Now finally, I think I'm going to be given my own hideout. It took me a long time to find that last little creature, which really bugged me. But there's some pretty cool options here. Oh my, limestone hideout. That's the one. Give it to me. How do I get this? I googled it. I'm not going to get it yet. Fortunately, I think it's tied to like a map completion. But anyway, for whatever reason, I think this is a day later. I thought let's have a bit of fun. Is this my idea of fun? So this is fighting a boss that I haven't successfully fought before. I also bashed this particular Vile guy a lot of times without realizing what was going wrong, but the problem was in my head. Nice to be able to kind of just churn through an area. And actually, it took a long time to find this particular area. I had quite a fun little journey here, not having too much trouble against some of the denizens of Act 3. But it's time to be lifted into the boss arena. Now, the fire resist, 62, looks okay. Could be better. It might need to be better. You might actually need max fire resist for this one, but we'll see. This is a timed fight, and I don't think you can extend the time that much more than, like, I don't know how long it is. 8 minutes would be my guess. It might not even be that long. We are taking a ludicrously high amount of damage. Now look, he seems to be taking some decent damage. It's scaled up. When we get 6 stacks, it's good. The problem is, it's so difficult to fight him all the time. Constantly need to pull him out of the lava. For whatever reason, that first hit of lava seems to be more damaging than the... I mean, maybe it's like scales the longer you sit in it. But we have to avoid it at all costs if we can. This particular, this is stupid. It's annoying because it's wasting the time I need to be doing. Maybe if you're a ranged character, which I think probably most people are, then this is just fun and easy and you just get it's free damage. But for any melee character, they have such a hard time in this game, especially with the Ascendancies and stuff. I mean, I'm dodging, I probably don't need to, but I need to lure him out of this lava just so I can do as much damage as possible. It looks like we're on track, but I can't quite tell at this point how close we are to the end. Oh my god, we're very close. We're actually, I can't believe we're at the end already. Oh, I don't even know if we're going to do this. This is unbelievable. I think we're going to have to just spend some time in the lava. Please, come on. Well, just tank it. I don't think there's nothing else we can do. We're just going to have to sit here. There's no space left to run to. We're so close to the end. Oh my goodness, that was close. Incredible. I tell you, that actually felt pretty good. Now, the problem I have is I'm stuck. And I'm so stuck, I can't actually put any items down. And I really need to pick up the hammer of Kamasa, but I'm unable to do so. I assumed I was like, oh, am I lagging out or something like that? No. I ended up putting things on my secondary weapon slot and moving things around. But I couldn't even get back to town. And there is an option, unfortunately, to reset from the last checkpoint. I managed to get the item in my hands, but it's the most awkward size and shape. No item is this shape. Thank God it worked out as well as this. So I was able to pick it up. But why would they make it such an awkward shape? Back. We're back. We're slaying prisoners. This was now an emotional battle for me. As with all these fights, I just needed to get good. I am better than I'm performing at this point. I can be a better boxer, but I'm really just choking hard. The first part of this fight is so ridiculous. I just need it over and done with. This is always part of the problem. It's like the first part just feels like I'm wasting my time. It's like a lot of sunk cost into desperately hoping he's not going to be annoying and clip me with his unavoidable health regeneration attack. I think the trick is just be so cautious and take it really, really carefully. So I am running away at the sign of almost any attack whatsoever. We're at that point now where I think, we've got him. Have we got him? Oh, you joking. And look how much you regenerate. How is this fun? I don't mind, like, okay, regenerate 20% of your hit points, but 50% of your health. Who thought of that? Unbelievable. Absolute bullshit. It's just stupidest game. This game, why would you have the most beautiful environments and just the worst people? And I just lost the will. So I'm spending money shopping my one. This is the most physical damage, and it had extra life. Now look, it's crazy we're getting rid of our snakebite braces. But 473, a lot of it was just, I have to cut down. Well, actually 573, once it kind of tracks the full life bonus I'm getting from one of my nodes. It was significantly faster getting to the point where I needed to get to. A lot of it is like, look, a 5-minute fight before we get to that point is very draining. If we can get that down to like 2-3 minutes, so much better. I just needed to get good. I was getting hit by every single slam attack, by the way. I remember editing this and thinking like, dude, just avoid what. At least I can put it in the highlights of you avoiding one of those attacks. No, every single time I got hit. So this is about as cautious as I could be. Stay back. Am I going to get hit? Actually, at this range, that attack is extremely dangerous. I was lucky it didn't last any longer. One of those fights where, because I'm so used to being in the melee range, you don't even realize how many attacks he has at like mid-range and distance range. There's a lot of them just chuckle stuff when you're at a range. But this was like the most critical time. I just needed to avoid getting hit. One attack. Once he does it, and then we can just jump in and have some fun. We've got a little bit of a grace period. Very close again. We've just got to be really, really careful with what happens here. The frost attacks and stuff, insignificant. The main thing was just avoiding that horrific attack. And by the end, he got really weirdly passive and stopped attacking properly. I saw the ballista. Quick, he's regenerating. Oh my god, for whatever reason, it allowed us to kill him with the ballista. And what an absolute wanker. The fight actually wasn't that long. I mean, look, it was much longer in previous versions because I was fighting for 10 minutes with his constant regenerations. But we did it. And we're back in probably my favorite environment as well. So with the like icons in the church. For those of you who haven't been to Europe, this church,
What is all that noise?
there are churches like this. I'm not even kidding. Even in London, there are churches that you walk past when you've had a few drinks. You're like, just pop in because you're allowed to do that. Amazing. You'll see some of the best artwork, the most amazing like mosaics, statues that you've ever seen. And I really, really didn't want to mess this up. This is super cool, by the way. But I really didn't want to mess up this and die here because I thought it would really ruin it. But man, if you were the guys outside and you suddenly saw like 12 people explode, yeah, you know, you probably picked the wrong day to shift, the wrong shift at work today. The like icon artwork, it just looks so cool. This is probably my favorite environment in the whole game. And I've seen some places I'm like, oh, I love the Jellyfish place. I love the bit before the third trial where you suddenly have that like huge drop and that. But this place really feels like going on holiday. I know a lot of you guys from the US. If you haven't been to Europe before, like temper your expectation, but just go to loads of places. The trick to enjoying a good holiday is to really plan it and just to go to loads of places. I imagine a lot of you guys are like office workers as well. You just got to do it. Just got to do it. You'll have a great time. And if you come to London, hit me up. I'll show you some pretty good pubs. But there's a world of like little like village culture. Look at this. Oh. Cypress trees. It's like wisteria. Stone steps. A glass of sangria. Decent pizza. The loot is incredible. As if the place wasn't good enough. And look, this guy's had too much spaghetti. Must be really cheap. Delicious. And it says, what? Twant? What do you call me? What do you call me, mate? Classic Brit abroad. And look at this. Just, why do we have to fight? Why can't we just relax? Have some pasta, share some stories. Luckily, these swarming bugs, like the perfect things just to explode. Just pretend that there's no horrific violence behind me. Look at this. This looks incredible. Why do we have to fight insect creatures? What are you even doing here? The environmental artists for this game, I'm going to really labour this point. Oh my god, the loot. Are you kidding me? The bell. Wow. What a place. It feels like it's the best holiday I've ever been on. And maybe it's a little bit of, like, I don't know, mania, like post-boss mania. I've been through some bloody fights at this point, guys. Literal bloody fights. We've made a viable build as well, which is disgusting. We're up to almost 600 DPS. That's not that good. But considering we did most of the game on under 100, things are going well. Solid Winged Knight vibes, by the way, from Dark Souls 3. Once again, Dark Souls 3, an inspiration to us all. It's not the best Dark Souls game, but it is still 9 out of 10. Quite an interesting fight here. I respect it. I like what they did with it. It's a bit gimmicky. I understand why people might not like that. I don't hate it. What I would like is for enough of those rock throw hits to eventually destroy it, and then you can permanently kill these characters. Because it felt a little bit annoying that I had to like hang around just for him to throw his rock again, so I could kind of disrupt the semi-obvious spell casting of the people around them. And it got to a point where I was like, I feel like a lot of my time is spent trying to interrupt these spells. Maybe weirdly simple. It's nice that they pace some of these boss fights, as in, like, I know this is more like a, I would call it like a sharky fight, you know? It's not going to be too bad. I know there's going to be some horror ahead, but this is okay. I understand it. I can probably beat this first time. There's a few mechanics, like don't smash through those like window type panes. If I get hit by it, is it the worst thing? Is this the most ridiculous column of flame I've ever seen? No, but it's up there. 9 out of 10. But even though I'm like smashing the windows, it didn't really make too much of a difference. I think at one point I like, what does that even mean? And that it was quite a significant debuff, but it didn't seem to make a difference. I think it increased my chance of getting crit hit. I mean, I don't get hit, as you can see. But really cool idea for a fight. And it's weird that there's still so many like fresh ideas for fights that they can have. Because at some point you're like, how many different types of fights are there for ARPGs? There are 60, according to these guys. And there's probably another 60 to come in the next few acts. There are map bosses I've not even seen yet. God, I don't even know. And when am I going to see them? Sure. I'm not sure. Let's get past this challenge first. Well, part of me is thinking, actually, when the full game releases, I can go back to some of these old characters. Maybe try them again. But we're blessed that they've released a 4th act to this game, and it's of this quality level. Because honestly, guys, I had such a good time. The bosses were terrible. This like gank boss fight is fine. The environment's just so, yeah. Why not have an archaeological dig with plan tables and cool chests and like looks like a proper dig site? Yeah, this looks awesome. Well, who are we going to populate in this particular area? Oh, what are you going to find? Just unique items. I'm just having a great. I'm just on holiday at this point. Just having a great time. I know I kind of, you know, some of those boss fights have been horrible, absolutely horrible. I don't want this game to get any tougher, but I'm definitely enjoying myself. It's like being on holiday, but every hour someone comes and kicks you in the dick. I'm sure that's relatable to no one, but I love these little creatures as well. And here I'm like, oh, it's growing. It's going to be. Oh, thanks. Like a weirdly trained, Pavlovian trained to be expect to be ganked.
It seems we're running the same paths.
My life's work is about to be finished. The
I was really confused. Like, who's talking right now? Ah, she's up there.
As you wish.
It's dangerous up there, I'll be honest. There's a big drop below her, and there's no handrails.
We
Benedictus.
will. You destroy.
Am I concerned? Not with my DPS, not at all. I'm a bit concerned sometimes when you have maybe an easier fight. You know, you're kind of ready for an absolute trash fight. I wasn't sure if this was the last fight in the game either. So, for those that know, I was assuming at this point this will be a multi-stage fight and this will be unpleasant. It was definitely unpleasant, I'll tell you that. He has just so many annoying attacks. The damage, I'm doing very solid damage. I can see his health bar. To me, this is screaming down. But this particular attack, what? I was just so smooth brain during this. So what do? Just nowhere is safe. I think at this point I'm like, there looks like maybe a little pathway. I mean, it's nice to like discover the fight for yourself. One of the things I kind of regret, I can't remember which of the Souls games I really messed up on. I just remember reading a lot about, because I was just so worried about losing my souls all the time. So I'm like, oh, let's read about this boss fight. What's it weak to? And I kind of ruined the experience of discovering a lot of the game myself. I really recommend not doing what I did with so much of this and just experiencing it. And then when you get frustrated at your lack of ability, just shop. Just go shopping. I mean, that's a really stupid death, but you get really hemmed in as the arena gets smaller. Actually did count against me. Once you realise, the gimmick is you just got to stand near him and then do the little puzzle. If anything, I wish the puzzle was so difficult that it was almost, you had to really time it. You had to really like hit it every time. And you'll have to ignore the Discord messages. I've had to zoom in slightly because a lot of the Discord messages are from other Path of Exile creators. It's not fair for you to see their inner personal thoughts. Yeah, what an absolute dickhead. Again, didn't take me long. And I'm so ready for the next. Okay, yep, stage 2. Whoa, look at that. He's so cool.
They're keeping the beast. Orith, they're in Orith. Please forgive me, Makoru, please.
Treason is unforgivable.
Wait, no.
Dude. Spaghetti for dinner again. I won't go into too much. I just feel this video is getting very long at this point. So we are cutting a lot of the exposition, story, lore. Yeah, just play the game. You'll enjoy it, I'm sure. We're into yet another area. Am I ready for another area? No. Especially if it's tougher. And these guys absolutely hit, by the way. I can take 2-3 hits. I'm solidly relying on not getting hit every single time. And this guy, I'm like, why are you not dead? And then, as an absolute treat, a cherry on the end of the act, another PvP, PvE kind of fight, like a faux PvP fight. Absolutely love it. So cool. The thing I didn't realize as the fight was going on is if he gets to a certain health point, he'll drink a potion. Stuff like that. It's just so cool. It's a tough fight as well, especially because there's so many ads. For whatever reason, it's annoying maybe that, I don't know, it should be isolated. It maybe is made a bit easier from the fact that I can use the ads to blow him up. I did the honourable thing, and we just slogged it out at the end. But the fact that he drops all his stuff, is so cool. More of those, please. A proper tournament with maybe randomly generated creatures and skills would be so cool. And I'm surprised the floor can hold this many people. There doesn't look like nearly enough support pillars. I was so desperate not to die here as well, because there was so much loot and chests around. I was on the absolute brink. I was drinking heavily. I really only take a few shots. I think at this point I've got a decent health pool as well, like almost 1,200 hit points. That doesn't feel bad. Look, and the loot here, I mean, look, this might be trash, but 2 to minion skills, got Chaos Resist, Life, Evade. I mean, that is almost perfect. I found this +4 level to projectile skills, and I was like, okay, what? And it's got increased attack speed? It's the best item in the game. I checked on the marketplace. There's a few of them, I'll be honest. That's Yeah, and that's 2,400 damage if I equip that bow as well. So yeah, that was actually quite depressing, realizing how bad my damage was at this point. We are tantalizingly close to the end. I'm exploding my last vulnerable women. The experience here was very decent as well, so I felt it was worth probably just getting a few more levels. Level 56. We're over 600 DPS now. I mean, it does scale up pretty quickly. And here we are. It's time to take on Moana. The criticism I've heard of this is that there's too much dialogue. It's so funny. People are so impatient. I think the problem is this game, it deserves people to take it at a really slow pace, and they've made it as fast paced as possible to the point where there's a little bit of dialogue that you have to go through, and people hate it. Absolutely hate it. My biggest criticism is that I know already this is going to be a multi-stage fight. Why do you have to make this first stage so boring? Now look, I know I'm doing this very slowly because I'm in punch. But even if this was 3 or 4 times faster, 5 times faster, it just feels a little bit boring. It should be so epic. If anything, like, make it a 5-stage fight and make each stage really, really quick. And I love the fact they did really goofy run away. The first thing I thought was, I really wish I got run over by that, just to see what would happen. To be honest, I'm not a lover of this environment here. Especially because my latency seems to be suffering. I don't imagine that's a graphical issue. I think that's just the servers hating me. I don't understand when you're in boss fights why I need to be communicating with the server. That's probably my game ignorance. But Tavakai, now in his fallen form, he's been to the gym. Enough for me to be complete. And that is really embarrassing at this point. Now look, hate me. Please hate me. I've got a Divine Orb. I'm going to spend it on this. Massively overpriced. I mean, it's good. Don't get me wrong, it is very good. But it's not a Divine Orb. But I'm going to spend it because I can. We're at the very end now, guys. And I was a little bit disappointed at the damage. My God, I spent a Divine Orb on that. What? I actually have like real buyer's regret. Nothing I could do about it. Feel free to send me your Divine Orbs so I could spend it as poorly as that. But I thought, look, I know this is the very final fight. I also know I definitely did not deserve that Divine Orb. What I do deserve is to get run over by this guy. Oh my God, it's really going to happen as well. Perfect. Oh, and the whole thing collapsing on me as well. That's concussion. Let's be a little bit more sensible in this fight. I mean, I've got no idea what I'm doing. Cool. But with all of the skills I've learned through countless fights, I know that as long as he doesn't summon a giant bird, I'll probably be fine. As long as he doesn't regenerate 40% of his health, I'll be fine. Hey, I tell you what's not a bad idea, by the way, is if all of the bosses you kill like take away an ability from the final boss, so you can fight the final boss in his ultimate form, or you can take your time like going to different areas, beating bosses, and it like strips away a really annoying mechanic from the final boss. Now, I didn't really know what I was doing here. I could see things happening. Nothing really seemed as bad as the bird boss at this point. I'm like, well, this is fine. Like, none of these seem to be hitting me, even though I seem to be standing so close to it. Like, even there, like, should I not have got hit by that? Now? Fine. Like, it looks cool. It feels a little bit too easy. And the ads, I mean, any time you see me coming, keep your mates away. This stage, actually, I mean, again, the ads are going to make a massive difference to my DPS here. None of his attacks are really that terrifying. I've got very solid resists at this point as well. So I just need to be super careful of being one-shot by some annoying super move. And then, of course, it wouldn't be the end of Act Boss without an unnecessary third stage. He is looking pretty hench at this point. the culmination of hours of work. One final fight. The main motivator at this point is I really don't want to have to repeat the steps beforehand. This is maybe the issue I'm having. This is the chief motivator, is the last thing I want to do is get back in that room with Moana and have to piss around with some very, very basic attacks. And I'll tell you what, this fight, it just gets absolutely mad so quickly. I think maybe my issue is the madness doesn't seem to be too dangerous. It's just very, very wild, colourful, distracting. And this, what is going on? I'm assuming at this point I'm not allowed in that leafy area, but nobody's really sure why. I'm not going to find out. You'll have to do that in your own time. But you can see I've really not taken a huge amount of damage at this point. My flask is looking pretty good. It does regenerate slowly. I may have not shown it regenerate. I may have clipped to show it regenerating at some points during this run. I'm watching this as an absolute slideshow, so there's no way any zoom in on that would have been caught. Yes. But on a run like this, like charges regenerating is so important. And also just being so locked in. I mean, I'm relatively like minutes into the fight at this point. The goal is not to choke against one giant meteor move, but with one last flurry of punches. Tavakai, defeated. Act 4. A memory. And finally, victory is mine. The pathetic 11 minutes and 35 seconds. Moana, insignificant. Some of those fights, man, memories. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Before you switch off, let's share some great stat. So how long did this take me? 2 days, 15 hours of gameplay. Mostly shopping, a lot of gameplay. And 99 deaths during that as well. That feels pretty solid to me. Thank you so much for watching, especially if you watched through part 1 and 2 and got this far. Please hit the like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you want to see more of this. Let me know what you want to see from patch 0.4 coming in December. And I really hope to see you in the next one.